Ever wondered what life was really like for a trucker in 1980? No GPS, no mobile phones, no backup if things went wrong, just a man, a machine, and the open road. Owner-operators ran their whole business from behind the wheel, fixing their own breakdowns and chasing freight to survive. This isn't some Hollywood version. It's the real, unfiltered grind of life on the highway. 5 a.m. Morning start. You wake up with a stiff neck, tangled in a scratchy blanket in the sleeper of your Kenworth, parked behind a weather-beaten truck stop just outside Oklahoma City. It's not peaceful, never is, but you've gotten used to the way diesel engines rumble through your dreams and the cold creeps in through the floor. There's no alarm clock, no wake-up call, just that internal rhythm you've developed after years on the road, telling you it's time to move. You swing your legs over the side, boots hitting the floor, and your knees remind you they're not 20 anymore. You grab your jacket, logbook, and head into the diner. It's already alive with a few early risers. Same crowd, same complaints, different day. You order without thinking, eggs over hard, bacon, toast, and coffee that's been sitting in the pot since 4 a.m. The waitress refills your cup without asking, and two guys at the counter are arguing about how deregulation is killing the spot rates. You don't stick around to debate. You finish eating, leave a couple bucks on the table, and walk back toward your truck, knowing the real work's just getting started. If you're hooked already, don't forget to subscribe. This is just the beginning of a full day behind the wheel in 1980. Real roads, real risks, and the raw truth of life as an owner-operator. Stick around because what comes next might surprise you. 5:45 a.m. Pre-trip walk-around. Your Kenworth looms in the dawn light like a steel fortress. Dirty from the road, but dependable, familiar and stubborn in all the ways a good truck should be. You've had it for years, and every squeak, every rattle, every quirk is something you know by heart. It's not just a truck. It's your business partner, your home, and your only shot at making a living. You don't need a printed checklist. Your routine is muscle memory by now. You walk slowly around the rig, thumping each tire with your iron club, listening for the right hollow sound. You check the fifth wheel, crawl under to look for any fresh oil drips, pull on hoses, wiggle wires, shine a flashlight at the brake lines. You drain the air tanks, check the fuel caps, eyeball the tread, and tug on the mud flaps. It's quiet work, but serious. Miss one thing, and it could cost you the day, the load, or worse. Back in the cab, you scribble your on-duty time into the logbook, turn the key and feel the Cummins roar to life. She fires up strong. That's a good sign. It means you roll today. 6:15 a.m. on the open road. You ease her out of the lot, nose down the on-ramp, and slide into the right lane of I-40 heading west. The highway's quiet at this hour, just the soft hum of rubber on asphalt and the occasional howl of wind across the mirrors. You shift through the gears slowly, deliberately, double clutching each one like second nature. These old transmissions won't forgive sloppy timing, and every missed shift is a grind that costs you more than just pride. There's a rhythm to it now. The engine's in its sweet spot, the trailer feels balanced, and the load isn't pushing too hard on the slopes. You flick the CB on, and the static fills the cab until a voice cuts through, warning about a DOT inspection station setting up near mile marker 117. You check your logbook, your mirrors, and your speed, though truthfully, the speedometer's been jumping around for months, so you go by feel more than numbers. There's no GPS, no app telling you where to stop or when traffic will slow down. Just the CB, a road atlas on the passenger seat, and a gut feeling sharpened by years behind the wheel. 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., long haul through the flats. The morning wears on, and the road stretches out like a ribbon with no end. You pass dusty fields, rusted fences, and tiny towns that only exist because trucks stop there. The sky's clear, the air's dry, and the sun is finally warming the cab. You've settled into a steady 60, letting the engine purr just under 1,600 RPM. It's not about speed, it's about balance, fuel economy, and keeping the motor happy. You've got a full trailer of machine parts bound for El Paso, and with luck, you'll hit the dock by sundown. But you're always watching for something to go wrong. An overheating gauge, a tire with a wobble, a slow leak in the airline. Out here, problems don't announce themselves. They sneak up on you, slow and quiet, until they cost you a day and a half your pay. You chew on beef jerky, sip coffee from a dented thermos, and keep one hand resting on the shifter. The CB's quieter now, just occasional chatter about fuel prices and westbound traffic near Albuquerque. You're alone but not lonely. This cab, this road, this is your world. Just you and 40 tons of steel slicing through the Southwest. 10:15 to 11 a.m. Quick stop, quick fix. You pull off at a rest area just past Tucumcari. It's not much. Cracked pavement, 2 broken vending machines, and a couple of other rigs parked crooked under the faded trees. But it'll do. You kill the engine, step out, and your knees pop like firecrackers as you hit the gravel. You stretch your arms over your head, roll your shoulders, and take a few slow laps around the truck just to get the blood moving again. But this stop isn't just about stretching, it's a chance to catch anything you might have missed. You hear a faint hiss near the rear axles and crouch down. One of the glad hand seals is leaking just enough air to raise an eyebrow. Not urgent, but not safe either. You fish out a spare from your side box, swap it in, and give it a tug. Better now. Lunch is fast. Sandwich from the cooler, a couple carrot sticks, and coffee that's gone bitter and cold. You sit on your step looking out over the low desert and the endless hum of traffic rolling by. You check the map, call the receiver from a payphone, and mark your log. 30 minutes off duty, then it's back to the seat, time to roll again. 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Rising grades, rising pressure. Back on the interstate, you cross the New Mexico line and start to feel the terrain change. The flat roads are behind you now, and the climb toward higher elevation begins slow but steady. It's the kind of grade that sneaks up on your engine. Not all at once, but in creeping rises that test your patience and your cooling system. You drop a gear to keep the RPMs up, watching the water temperature gauge like a hawk. If it starts climbing too fast, you've got real trouble on your hands. There's no margin for error here. Every hill demands attention. Downshifting early, keeping the boost in check, letting the engine breathe without lugging or overheating. You pass a driver pulled off on the shoulder, hood up, flares out. No cell phones out here. He'll fix it himself or wait until someone stops. You give him a quick honk and a nod. He doesn't wave back, but you know he heard. You hit a long downhill stretch and switch on the Jake brake. The engine growls as you hold your speed steady, saving your service brakes for when it really counts. The CB's mostly quiet, just a few guys warning about a DOT crew near the Gallup exit. You log another 150 miles before the skyline of Las Cruces starts to rise up in the heat haze. You're tired, your shirt sticking to your back, but you're still on time, and that's what matters. 3 to 4 p.m. The unload. You snake your way through the edge of Las Cruces, cutting between warehouses and chain-link fences until you find the address scrawled on your bill of lading. It's not marked well, just a faded sign and a dusty loading dock tucked behind a tire shop. You pull in slow, scanning for dock numbers. There's barely enough space to swing wide, and you're backing in blindside with cars parked along the fence. No cameras, no backup sensors, just your mirrors, your memory, and the angle of your trailer in the glass. It takes 3 pull-ups, but you bump the dock clean. Parking brake on, engine idling. You grab the clipboard and head inside. A guy in a mesh hat takes your paperwork, barely looks at it, and tells you to wait. So you lean against the trailer, arms crossed, watching the forklift guy take his sweet time unloading. Some places let you help, some don't. Either way, you're still on the clock in your own head. Once it's empty, you sweep out the floor with a push broom from your side box. Clean trailer equals faster reload. You tuck the signed paperwork into your logbook. That's one load down. Time to think about the next. 4:15 to 5:45 p.m., refuel, repair, and reset. You pull out of the yard and head straight for a truck stop just south of town. One of those older Flying J's with narrow lanes and a gravel lot full of potholes. The fuel gauge is flirting with empty, so you swing into a bay and start topping off both saddle tanks. Diesel's running $1.18 a gallon today, and you wince at the numbers spinning on the pump. Every fill-up eats into your profit, but there's no getting around it. No fuel, no miles. While the tanks fill, you run a rag over the fifth wheel, check your brake hoses again, and spot a loose wire hanging under the trailer marker lights. You grab your pliers, re-crimp the connection, and tape it up. Might not last forever, but it'll hold for now. You've learned to fix what you can, when you can, because out here, waiting means losing money. And time is the only thing you can't get back. Inside the truck stop, you grab a hot meal, meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and a dinner roll that's mostly crust. It's not fancy, but it fills the gap. You pick up a quart of oil, a new flashlight battery, and a pack of smokes. Paid in cash. Receipts stuffed in your logbook. Just another day keeping the rig and yourself rolling. 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., the final leg. You climb back into the cab with just enough daylight left to make one last push. Dispatch said there's a reload waiting in Phoenix tomorrow, and if you can knock out another 100 miles tonight, you'll be close enough to grab it first thing in the morning. That's how you survive out here. Not by sitting still, but by staying one step ahead of the next load. You fire up the engine, ease back onto the highway, and settle into a steady groove. The sun is sinking behind the desert hills, casting long shadows across the road. The heat's letting up, but the cab still feels stuffy. You roll the window down, let the wind slap your face, and crank the AM radio. A grain report is playing. Prices are up, droughts hitting the Midwest hard again. Doesn't change your day, but it reminds you that everything you haul connects to something bigger. As the light fades, your focus tightens. Night driving is a different beast, less margin, more risk. Your eyes play tricks in the dark, and your body's heavier with every mile. You dial back to 55, keeping it easy, and finally pull off near Deming, where you know a quiet gravel turnout by an old scale shack. You shut her down, let the turbo wind down, and listen to the engine tick itself cool. Another day done. Not perfect, but good enough. 8:30 to 10 p.m., shut down and rest. You sit in the driver's seat for a minute after the engine goes quiet, just listening. No radio, no hum, just the faint creak of metal cooling and the occasional distant whoosh of a passing rig. You feel the fatigue settle in your bones, not just tired, but used up. It's been a full day and your logbook proves it. You flip open the worn binder and jot down the final entries. Miles driven, 673 time on duty, 14 hours even delivery completed, one full load. You tuck your receipts in the back, mark your off-duty status, and slide the pen into the clip. That's the paperwork side of the job. Not glamorous, but just as important as keeping the wheels moving. Dinner's light, instant soup from a thermos, a handful of crackers, and the last of the coffee you made this morning. You stretch out in the bunk, boots off, logbook tucked away, and stare at the ceiling. You don't need music or distractions. The hum of the road still echoes in your head. Your hands still feel the wheel. Your legs still brace at every imagined corner. Tomorrow, same thing. New load, new town. But right now you rest. In 1980, being an owner-operator meant doing everything yourself. Driving, fixing, booking, and surviving. There were no smartphones, no GPS, no one to bail you out if things went wrong. Just you, your truck, and the open road. Every day was a grind. Long hours, tight margins, and problems you had to solve with your hands, not apps. But there was pride in it too. You weren't just moving freight, you were moving the country. If this gave you a glimpse into that life, hit subscribe. And if someone you know lived this way, drop their name in the comments. They deserve to be remembered.